sign of a warrior is bravery. Then comes the weapon. For years, they said that man can only conquer land and not the sea. But there is a voyage of a man who ruled the sea for 500 kilometers from Mumbai to Vengurla in the Konkan. The Arabian Sea had only one king, and its waves bowed down only to one man, and he was Sarkhel Kanhoji Angre. Kanhoji Angre was the first notable chief of the Maratha Navy and was popularly known as the Samudra Shivaji, Shivaji of the seas. He waged his first battle when he was barely 13 years old, and such was his command over the seas that he remained undefeated throughout his life. His early life. Kanhoji was a Maratha Kshatriya by birth, born in the village Harne in Ratnagiri district of Konkan in the year 1669. Angre's original family name is Sankhpal. The surname Angre was supplied by the tiny village Angadwadi in the Maval Hills, which is about 6 miles from Pune, where the family long resided. They were guardians of a small state named Veer Rana Shankh, and so they became Sankhpal. It was here that Kanhoji spent his childhood days. And from here he watched the Maratha ships making out for the open sea and falling upon the enemy's fleet. And it was here that he received practical training of seamanship from the uncouth but faithful Koli sailors. Tukoji, his father, took service under the great Chhatrapati Shivaji around 1658 and distinguished himself in several actions. He was rewarded with a command of 200 men and was posted at Suvarnadurg, an important naval post which occupied a menacing position hardly 20 miles south of the Siddhis frontier. Kanhoji goes on to become the Admiral of the Maratha Navy. Kanhoji Angre occupies a unique position in the history of India and in the annals of Arabian Sea's history. For 4 decades, he was a terror to the maritime powers of the western coast. He led his sailors from victory to victory and raised the naval prestige of Maharashtra to unprecedented heights. So much so that an unknown writer called him the Arabian pirate. Today largely forgotten, Angre founded a dynasty in the late 1690s that became the main obstacle to the rise of the English East India Company as a hegemonic power in the Bombay region. The company tried to suppress the maritime depredations of the powerful Angre for more than 50 years, but to no avail. The Marathas were said to be the first and perhaps the only ones to employ a navy. Indeed, as the saying goes, Shivaji Maharaj carried the capital of his empire on the high seas and gave him the title Sarkhel. In 1698, Angria located his first base at the Maratha fort of Vijayadurg, translated to Victory Fort, Vijayadurg, formerly Gheria. This is located about 425 kilometers from Mumbai. The fort, which was originally built by the Maratha ruler Shivaji, is located on the coast and has an entrance hollowed out in it to accommodate the entry of a vessel from the sea. Angria created a base on the fortified islands of Khanderi and Undheri off the coast of Mumbai and attempted to levy a tax on every merchant vessel entering the harbour. Angria established a township called Alibag towards the end of the 17th century. The main village at that time was today's Ramnath. Kanhoji even issued his own currency in the form of a silver coin called the Alibagi Rupaya. Kanhoji Angre then went on to establish a base in the Andaman Islands and is credited with attaching those islands to India. Kanhoji Angre stands alone in the list of early freedom fighters of India as the only one who stood undefeated and who inflicted many casualties on the colonial powers. However, the English and other shipping powers who were heckled by Angria claimed that he was a pirate, forgetting that he was the appointed Admiral of the Maratha Navy. By the time he died on the 4th of July 1729, at an age of about 60, Kanhoji Angria had emerged as a master of the Arabian Sea from Surat to South Konkan. He left behind 6 sons. After Kanhoji, his son Shekhoji continued the Maratha exploits at sea till his own death in 1733. After Shekhoji's death, Angria's holdings were split between the two brothers, Sambhaji and Manaji, because of divisions in the family. Angria's Samadhi, the tomb, is situated at Shivaji Chowk, Alibag, in the Raigad district of Maharashtra. With the Marathas neglecting naval concerns, the British soon found it easier to defeat the remnants of the kingdom. Angria and his son's reign over the western coast ended with the capture of Tulaji in a joint British Peshwa attack on the fort of Vijayadurg in February 1756. Only death could halt his voyage, and what a sad end to a brave hero's dream who held his own for 4 decades plus. Sarkhel Kanhoji Angre was the ultimate sea warrior.